Today on Judge Faith, signals are crossed with this cell phone fiasco.
What happened to your $5,000, sir?
I wish I knew.
So we buy the phones. Now, I go off
Who
the
is we, sir?
myself. I buy the phones.
You all do know that I was a former DA and a prosecutor, right? You're bringing this case in front of a former DA?
And later, tensions are high as this landlord-tenant relationship turns into a living nightmare.
He forced himself upon the door frame at one point, screaming at me with rage, exclaiming to me that this was not my apartment.
The message there was, you have to go.
Okay.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor, and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real, and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiffs Ahmed Aghazari and Sharif Fazi say the defendant conned them and are suing for the return of $5,000. Defendant Caleb Estrada says they didn't understand the deal, and he lost his money too.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this case is El Ghazari Fazi versus Estrada.
Okay, thanks, Barbara. Okay, Mr. El Ghazari,
Yes.
you and your co-plaintiff, Mr. Fauzi, are suing the defendant, Caleb Estrada, for $5,000 for the return of money you say he kept in exchange for an iPhone purchase or transaction you were involved in with the defendant?
Yes.
Okay. How do you know the defendant?
He used to work for a dealership a few years back, and Caleb Estrada, he used to have a detail company. He used to detail cars. A few years down the line, to be exact, it was April 21st, 2014, hanging out with some mutual friends, and that he happened to know them as well. And when he came over, he was saying, I can get you really good iPhones for such a good deal. If you spend a little bit of money, I can get them down to $260 a phone, you know.
Your Honor, can we go back?
Sure.
My buddy our mutual friend knew what I was doing. And he said, hey, Caleb, how do we get into that? So,
Okay, when you say knew what you were doing, what do you mean?
as far as the iPhone business, we would buy them at a wholesale price and resell them.
Okay.
Now, these would go to China, Pakistan, Africa. You know, people pay higher for these type of phones overseas. We meet through his mutual friend. He gives me a call. He's like, hey, I have somebody that's interested in investing.
It wasn't an investment, Your Honor, it's a transaction. I basically gave him a set amount for a set amount of phones.
What was the conversation you had with the defendant about this transaction?
He was like, if you put a good amount down, I can get you phones for
What's a good amount?
$5,000, you know, $4,000 or $5,000. You can get the phones at $260 a phone.
And?
So I put $2,500.
And sell them for what kind of?
It's an iPhone 5S, the brand new sealed iPhone 5Ss.
Okay.
Now I was supposed to get 19 phones for the exchange of $5,000.
And for 19 phones, you were going to sell them and make what kind of profit?
Well, I mean, I already know how much you can make. I mean, the phones go for retail
But I asked you how much you would make in profit, and you said you didn't know. I'm asking you what you wrote in your complaint about the profit that you planned on making with the
25 to
phones.
30. I had a text message saying that he made $30,000, and he was supposed to come over and give me my share.
Tell me how you make $20,000 to $30,000 profit on 19 iPhones.
19 phones times 650, 700.
Who are you planning on selling these phones to?
I didn't have a plan on who I was going to sell it to yet. I don't know if I was going to post them on eBay, if I had a friend that I was going to sell them to. I didn't know yet. I was just trying to get, I didn't know. I didn't have a plan for those phones.
So you're going to shell out $5,000 in cash.
Yes.
To get 19 iPhones, and you have no plan on who and when where you're going to sell the iPhones to, but you're going to make $20,000.
Eventually, when I do sell them, yeah.
You all do know that I was a former DA and a prosecutor, right? You're bringing this case in front of a former DA.
Okay.
So somebody better start telling me the truth about what's going on here with these iPhones. You don't make $20,000 on 19 iPhones.
Can I explain that?
No, I want to go back to, because you say you gave him $5,000 cash. When did you do that?
I didn't give it to him right away. I met him the next day, which is the day the transaction happened. I met him right there. He basically told me, he's like, give me the money, I'm gonna go get him and I'll be back. I didn't feel comfortable giving him the money.
So you're in the business, I'm not asking you anything. He's in the business
Yes.
of buying iPhones wholesale.
Yes.
You don't go to his business
Well,
to give him $5,000.
I did. He didn't want me to, due to security measures saying they don't want people knowing that there's so many iPhones available at the store.
They don't want what people to know?
I don't know. That's what, according to him, he doesn't want people.
Sir,
the store
you're giving
owner,
him $5,000.
Yes, that's why I
No
fought. That's
sense
why I
whatsoever.
told him to go. I can't give you the money right then and there, and we almost didn't do the deal. He stopped me. He's like, you know what? I want to make some money too. Just you can follow me there. Just wait around the corner, and so that way nobody knows you're coming.
Where's there?
On Boulevard. I think it was like on Street.
He tells you, wait around the corner because I don't want these people to know that you're
I
coming.
brought somebody over to the store because nobody's supposed to know that they
And you
produce
think
that
this
much
is
iPhones.
an actual legitimate business transaction?
Oh, yeah, it says wholesale, retail, iPhone, everything on the top of the
You give
shop.
him $5,000
I gave it to him
cash
right
where?
then and there because I knew where he
Where
lives.
were you when you gave him the $5,000
Right in his car,
cash?
right outside on the corner of the shop.
Coming up on Judge Faith.
These guys have been robbed before.
Who are these guys?
Now, these guys are the people I buy phones from, okay? Now,
Who are they?
they're people that buy phones. I don't know
I don't
the
know who you buy
exact
from.
name of their company.
And later, a recycling rage in Brooklyn.
Took the garbage down, and he pretty kind of furiously stopped me at the door. I hear a can in the garbage bag.
If the can was not in the wrong garbage, he would not have been approached.
Plaintiffs Ahmed Al-Ghazari and Sharif Fazi are suing their former friend for $5,000 for the loss of 19 iPhones. Defendant Caleb Estrada says they made an investment.
What did he tell you about the transaction?
He told me how much he can get the phones for and what Caleb was saying, and I actually used to sell phones before
Where were the phones coming from?
Caleb and the store that he allegedly worked at.
The store that he told you he didn't want you to go to
Yes.
because he didn't want the people to see you at the store.
Right.
Why couldn't the people where you
Well,
work at see the plaintiff?
It's not the fact that I don't work for anybody. I do this independently. So I have buddies that could get these phones wholesale. I give them a call. I'm like, hey, and again, it's not only $5,000 going into this deal. We're looking at almost $12,000 in total because I put $6,000 of my money into this deal, okay? And he's like, you know what? I just don't feel comfortable giving you $5,000, you taking off, and who knows what. I'm like, you know what? If you want to ride with me, that's fine. So we rode together down to Burbank.
I didn't ride with them.
He rode in his car. He followed me.
Him over there.
He followed me in his car. Okay, we get to the place. I'm like, give me a second. Now, these guys have been robbed before.
Who are these guys?
Now, these guys are the people I buy phones from. Okay, now
Who are they?
they're people that buy phones. I don't know
I don't
the
know who you buy
exact
from.
name of their company.
Right.
I don't know the name of the company.
So you just shell out $12,000 to people who buy phones?
No, I've done business with these guys before. I mean, I could tell you they're all wireless store. I don't know their name of the store. I don't remember the name of the store. Okay?
But
Again,
you went over there with my money.
Again.
$12,000.
I go there. I buy the phones.
I assume you make all these transactions in cash?
Well, this was cash. So I sent a picture of the phones. Hey, I got them. Now, what do? I have people that buy these phones for $850, $900 a piece.
Now, Your
Okay.
Honor, I didn't know. I basically gave him the money to get me my phones. That's the reason why I want them. So when he gets the phone, he has to give them to
That
me because
was
that's my
not-
possession.
we didn't agree on that.
He drove off right after he got the
We
phones.
did not
He
agree
drove
on that.
off, and then I had
We
to keep calling him
agreed-
like a couple
Excuse me,
times
sir.
until he answered. He was like, you know what? I'm on my way to Orange County right now. I should be back like in 45 minutes. Wait for me right there. I'm gonna sell them for more money. I'm
Wait
gonna
up.
get my cut, and you can get your money.
What happened to your $5,000, sir?
I wish I knew. I've been calling him every
Right.
day for it. I've been asking him every day for it. Every day he's like, I'm gonna give you your money today.
So he
I'm
drove
gonna give you your money
off.
tomorrow.
He drove off. You never saw your
Since
$5,000
April 22nd
again.
until I filed for this case, I've been calling him almost on a daily basis. I went to his house and knocked on his door. I'm like, where's my money?
Okay,
he was
so-
never
So what
there.
happened
I've
to the
never seen him after.
$5,000?
We discussed this already. Okay?
Who
So
discussed this?
we all did discuss this, and we just went through this, didn't we?
Are you talking to me?
I'm just saying.
Oh, no, I don't think you're talking to me.
We just went through this, didn't we?
No, we didn't. If I ask you a question, that means I don't have the answer to it. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you may do your shady business deals with him, and you may be able to sell a story to them about iPhones, but when you come here, you will respect this court.
Yes, ma'am.
And if I ask you a question, you answer.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So the $5,000, We buy the phones.
What did you do with the money?
Okay, so we buy the phones. Now, I go off to
Who's
order.
we, sir?
Myself. I buy the phones. And we're done. And I'm like, hey, okay, my buyer is ready for me in Orange County. I'm gonna shoot over there now.
Who's your buyer?
Again, he's a private person. This guy, this is what he does. This is his business, so this is what he does. You know, I go there, and I'm like, hey, I have the phones. Nothing happens that day. I let him know.
I kept telling him, like, give me my phones. I didn't want it to do
now,
that.
This
I didn't want it to go over there and take
He
the phones.
tells me, give me my phones like a week, 2 weeks later. You know?
I told you, give me my phones a week or 2 weeks later?
Yeah, about.
So what did I say for a week or 2 weeks?
My only question to you is who stole the iPhones off the truck? Because you can't tell me we're not dealing with stolen merchandise. So is that your business? You deal with stolen merchandise?
No, I don't. No, we don't.
Who in your family is in law enforcement?
My dad.
Because you wrote in your answer that you would never be involved in a scam because you have a family member who's in law enforcement. Well, you know what? He does not have to go far to look for his next case. All he has to do is call you. This case is dismissed. You guys go home.
Plaintiff Sharia Rochas and her boyfriend Daniel Barnett are suing their former landlady for $2,250 for the return of their security deposit on their apartment. Defendant Mary Nesbitt says she refunded them the money they were owed, but withheld the rest for damages.
Okay, Cherie Aroshas?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant, Mary Nesbitt, for the return of a security deposit, correct?
Correct.
Okay, tell me about your case.
Well, I met the defendant in October of 2012. I moved into her townhouse in Brooklyn.
How did you learn that she was renting an apartment in the townhouse?
I used a real estate agent that I had used before.
Okay.
We were looking for a pet-friendly apartment in the same area that we were currently living in.
Okay, and how much was the rent?
advertised for. It was $25.50.
Did you sign a lease?
I did.
Do you have a copy of that?
I do.
And how much was the security deposit?
The security deposit was also $25.50.
Okay, great.
Here's the lease.
Okay, and the defendant allowed for you to have pets in the unit?
Yes. So we moved in September, in October of 2012, and we quickly realized that Mark had some rules and obligations that we had to follow.
And that's the defendant's son?
Correct.
If I can say, she really felt entitled to everything.
What do you mean by that?
Because we simply asked her to recycle her garbage. It's ruled by the Department of Sanitation.
Right.
Everyone recycles. In the lease, it's laid out, you have to recycle. They yesed me, said they would do it, but they did not follow through.
Was that your only issue with them?
And the noise, of course. They made a lot of noise.
What was the issue with the noise?
The plaintiff would come in late at night, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, but whenever she came in, they played with the dog all during the night, throwing toys across the floor. My son, who lived underneath them, would ask them to, stop. And they would say, yeah, and maybe they would stop for a night or so and continue going back to the same thing.
Well, there are hardwood floors, and whenever you have hardwood floors and you have people living below, there's going to be noise because of the hardwood floors. Had you not considered that when you put in the hardwood floors?
We did consider that, and we also told them, and they agreed that they would put down a rug. They didn't do it right away, and when they did get a rug, they didn't get a rug that was large enough.
I disagree with that statement. We did provide a rug that was large enough for the entire apartment to appease her son. He was incredibly rude about the recycling. It's not that we didn't want to recycle. It's that he forced my boyfriend to come downstairs and separate the bottle that was in the garbage. I understand the recyclables.
Step over to the lectern. What was the issue with the defendant's son?
Yeah, I mean, just an example of it. One morning, running late, took the garbage down, and he pretty kind of furiously stopped me at the door. I hear a can in the garbage bag. We have to take care of this right now. Opened up the garbage bag, started sorting through the garbage on the street, and fixed it.
If there was a can in the wrong garbage, if sanitation comes, we get fined.
You do get fined.
So
I understand that.
for him to say like he feels he was being harassed, if the can was not in the wrong garbage, he would not have been approached.
Next on Judge Faith.
Did you break the toilet seat?
No, it's a hinge that connects the toilet seat to the toilet. All we did was use the toilet. We didn't do anything to the toilet seat to cause any breaking.
Plaintiff Sharia Roshas and her boyfriend Daniel Barnett are suing their former landlady for the return of their security deposit. Defendant Mary Nesbitt says her tenants were loud and disrespectful.
Both of you work? You were
Yes.
working, okay, and were you there in the brownstone the entire time? Are you retired?
I'm retired.
What did you do for a living when you were working?
I worked for the Department of Correction.
Okay, what did you do there?
I was a supervisor.
You were a supervisor?
Yes, I was.
So you only lived in this brownstone for 1 year, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and what day did you sign the lease on?
October 15th, 2012.
What day did you move out?
We moved out October 1st, 2013. We found a new apartment in September because we received a certified letter from the defendant that our rent was going to be raised about 40%, from $25.50 a month to $35.50 a month.
I mean, $1,000, that is a lot.
The message there was, you have to go.
Okay.
That was actually the message.
Which I took.
Yeah.
I understood that message. We found an apartment shortly after that. We got the message. We moved right away.
Okay, so your lease actually ended on September 30th, 2013, and then the issue became you kept their security deposit. How much of the security deposit did she keep?
$25.50 was the security. She returned $914. I have the check here. She sent a certified check with just the check. No list of deductions, $915 was returned to me.
And you did not cash that check?
No.
Was there a walkthrough before you moved out?
No.
And Ms. Nesbitt, why wasn't there a walkthrough?
She did see the apartment. My son looked at the apartment.
Not with me, he didn't, because 2 weeks before we moved out, I had an altercation with her son. So I did not speak or see her son for 2 weeks because he came up to my apartment one day to complain about music, and he forced himself upon the door frame at one point, screaming at me with rage, exclaiming to me that this was not my apartment. I was trying to tell him that it is my apartment. I pay rent to live here. I expect some respect. He wouldn't let go of the door to the point where I was fearful. I called the defendant crying right after, saying that I was very scared of the situation and I didn't know what to do.
Ms. Nesbitt, is that true?
When he spoke to the plaintiff, he said he was standing in the door, and when he was asking her to be quiet or whatever this conversation was, she went to slam the door in his face.
Okay, so you deducted from their security deposit $1,635.
Yes.
Now, I know that you kept $83 for rent for the first day of October, and you admit you did stay there 1 day in October. Why did you keep the rest of the security deposit?
We have wooden floors, wooden Brazil floors in the apartment, and it looked like someone took a hammer or some heavy object and just hammered into the floor that it cannot be repaired.
May I see the photos of the
Yes.
damages to the floor?
I could also add, we weren't throwing hammers across the floor.
And
Were the
here's
floors
the other one.
scuffed or damaged at all?
the photos are extreme close-ups of these scratches.
You mean the defendant's photos?
Yes.
Okay.
Scratches could have been from moving in, from furniture, could have been from the dog, but
Let's see the photos.
most of everything was covered in carpeting.
Are these the scratches you're referring to, Ms. Nesbitt?
That's some of it, yes. That's damaged.
Those are
Those are scratches on the wood flooring?
Yes.
Okay, so you showed me scuffed floor. What else do you have?
The broken toilet seat.
Did you break the toilet seat?
No, it's a hinge that connects the toilet seat to the toilet. All we did was use the toilet. We didn't do anything to the toilet seat to cause any breaking.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
So I'm ready to rule in this case now. I've looked at all of the evidence, and in these cases, it's a judgment call. It's what is reasonable, normal wear and tear, and the question is, have you proven to me that they damaged the unit enough for you to keep their security deposit in the amount of $1,635, and I find that you have not proven that. So I am going to order you to return to the plaintiff's $2,467. Don't cash the check that she gave you for the $913. I'm going to order you just to return the lump sum, $2,467. I did deduct $83 for the 1 day that you did stay in October. That's my judgment for the plaintiff.